I'm at Drantch live in downtown Manhattan, where moments ago a federal judge sentenced former Congressman Chris Collins to 26 months in a federal prison, 2 years and 2 months in a federal prison for federal insider trading related charges that the congressman has now been sentenced on. Federal guidelines recommended 46 to 57 months, but the judge himself noted that he has the ways and the means to be a little bit more lenient, or it's within his discretion to sentence the former congressman as he wishes. He used several factors and what he called nature's and circumstances, and said that there were a number of letters that he read, all crediting Chris Collins as his service as his county executive and as a rep in Congress. The former congressman walked out of court moments ago with nothing to say, despite asking all these months later if he wanted to say anything to his constituents. He said in court, though, that he apologized to each and every one of you. Ashley and Jeff.
There was a lot laid out over the 2.5 hours there today in that courtroom in Manhattan. What were your impressions of the argument that was made today, that this decision by Chris Collins was an emotional one at the time to make that phone call to protect his family? What were your thoughts about that?
You know, it was very interesting to be in the courtroom and listen to this otherwise stoic former congressman make an emotional appeal to the federal judge, asking and pleading for leniency and mercy on his family. And what he said at the end of that statement was that it's not in his nature to get emotional, yet his own defense attorneys were painting this as an emotional decision to pick up the phone from the White House lawn, no less, and call his son, giving him the tip and essentially telling him to trade that stock for innate immunotherapeutics if it was at all possible. So the two don't connect, and it's the one thing that I think really stuck out to me was the fact that he got emotional and then said that it's not in his character to be emotional.
Ed, you spoke with Chris Collins just days after the re-election in November of 2018, where he doubled down, saying that these are meritless charges, and today he gets emotional. One of the things that we understand the judge spoke about repeatedly was that the constituents of New York's 27th district have not had any representation, and in part because of the decisions that were made about him rerunning for that seat.
And his own defense attorneys ultimately said that he had no choice but to run, couldn't get his name off the ballot. But then they also said that this wasn't a campaign about trust. In fact, they said this was a minimalistic campaign, and this was a campaign where he avoided the media, avoided talking with the media specifically so that he wouldn't have to speak about the charges and call them meritless, as he did many times thereafter once he was reelected to that 27th district seat.
And now we await the sentencing for Cameron Collins, his 27-year-old son, as well as Cameron's soon-to-be father-in-law, Stephen Zarsky. That happens next week. Any indication of what we can expect there?
No indication of what we can expect inside the courtroom when Cameron Collins is sentenced or when Stephen Zarsky is sentenced, though we do know that Collins himself will not be in the courtroom. Collins told the judge that he believes his son is good, that he was his son's mentor, and that, again, he will be forever haunted that his son is now a felon and faces the prospect of going to jail as well.
All right, Chris Collins getting 26 months prison time as his sentence for the insider trading case. Thank you very much for your reporting. Ed Drantch live for us in Manhattan.